Do it, doing something mean to it, do it better than anybody you ever
Alrighty, guys, we've got a good speaker next. This speaker was originally known as the Texas Tech cheerleading hunter. I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about. She since elevated her brand as a social influencer in the outdoor industry with over 1.2 million followers across social platforms. She currently works with many brands in the outdoor industry to spread the word of conservation and educate the public on hunting, the Second Amendment, and the outdoor lifestyle. Having battled social hate and negative publicity, Kendall has a passion to encourage women and children to live out their dreams for the outdoors and beyond. So I'm happy to announce Kendall Jones.
I'm having a record year. Quarter notes and Hank's halftime. I'm pounding on this heart of mine. Song to song, I pass my time. These speakers on 10. You're good to go, keeps me up all night alone.
Good morning, everyone. How are y'all today? This is an amazing event. I have never been to anything like this before. It's my first Turning Point event, so I'm super excited to be here with y'all. I just want to take a minute to thank Charlie Kirk. I actually met him at NRA this past year. It was the beginning of May, and he was like, "You have to come speak at this event." And I was like, "When is it?" And he told me when it was, and I was like, "I'm going to be in Canada. I'm going hunting there." And look, he won, and I'm here, and I moved my trip till tomorrow. So happy to be here. Glad that y'all have me. Before I start, I just want to see by a show of hands, before the Young Women's Leadership Summit, who here had heard of me or heard of my story? Okay, a good amount. How many have heard my story from me? No one. Okay, well, I have only spoke publicly about it 2 times before, so it's understanding that no one has really heard it from me. So before I start, the media kind of skews people's agendas, right? I didn't really fit the agenda that they wanted to hear back in 2014, so they twisted the story and got it all wrong, so y'all are going to hear it firsthand from me. So, like Brenna said, my name's Kendall Jones. For those of y'all that don't know me, I'm a social influencer in the outdoor industry. I have a large following across all social platforms with an excess of 1.2 million followers that were obtained organically. I grew up in a small town just south of Fort Worth, so not too far from here. I spent my formative years watching my parents work hard and build profitable businesses. Both of my parents, my mom and dad, are what you would call self-made. Their successes were made by working overtime, investing, and taking risks. I'm really lucky and blessed to have entrepreneurs as parents, because that is what was the start of the journey to becoming the person that I am today. By the age of 3, my parents had enrolled me in a local cheer and tumbling gym. Little did I know it would turn into a full-time job. Growing up, I tried multiple sports, but I fell in love with competitive cheerleading and club volleyball. I participated in those 2 sports throughout high school and continued on with cheerleading as a Texas Tech cheerleader. Any Red Raiders? My parents were very strict with the fact that if I was going to be involved in something, I would have to give 110%. This included many extra hours in the gym, practicing, and working with private coaches. Not only was sports a priority, but so was school. I was expected to maintain an A+ average through high school, or my dad would be on the phone with teachers asking what was the problem. And this is a true story. In my junior year of high school, I had a 98 in English, but I had forgotten to turn in a paper, so I had a 0, and he literally called the teacher. I was so embarrassed. But this enabled me to have the drive to graduate magna cum laude from Texas Tech University in May 2017. Thank you. With a degree in business marketing. Did I think that they were hard on me growing up and too involved? Yes, of course I did. I wanted to be riding bikes up and down the neighborhood, running around with the neighborhood kids. However, this was the exact upbringing that instilled the drive and ambition that I have today. I remember looking back on early days of having to make the rounds with my mom or dad before I could go home and play. The rounds included cleaning car washes, sweeping out storage buildings, collecting rent, filling vending machines, going to the bank, and many other boring tasks. But as I made the rounds, I watched, learned, and even wanted to help sometimes. The motivation and desire to succeed that I saw in my parents did not take long to rub off on me. By 4 years old, I was already looking for my own business opportunities. My first step into entrepreneurship was coloring pictures and selling my one-of-a-kind artwork to the customers at our various businesses. This is one my mom purchased from me. She still has it. I only made a few dollars, however, the seed was planted. My business ventures during my younger years included, but was not limited to, lemonade stands, selling ring pops in between classes, and making custom-ordered duct tape wallets. Yeah, any of y'all remember those duct tape wallets? Yeah, they were a thing, and I was the dealer of them. Later in school, I made jewelry, gave private tumbling and volleyball lessons, designed t-shirts to print and sell, and even collected junk to have a garage sale every summer to raise money for school clothes. And don't even bring up fundraisers. I was the kid that was determined to sell and raise the most. As I mentioned, I had a jump start on having the energy and desire for success. But my dad made it his priority to see that I had opportunities and the confidence to be whatever I wanted to be. Most fathers of 13-year-olds are learning how to navigate makeup in that dreaded first date, but not my dad. He was too busy buying me a .416 rifle and planning our trip to Africa. My first experience in Africa was actually whenever I was 8 years old, and it was then that I fell in love with the sport of hunting. Initially, I was not exactly sure if I wanted to hunt or if I just wanted to watch my dad hunt. However, it wasn't, the sun hadn't even set on that first day, and I knew this was going to be the passion I wanted to pursue. Hoping for this outcome, but not planning for it, my dad did not have a rifle that he was comfortable enough to let an 8-year-old shoot. We headed home after a week with the excitement and anticipation for going back. Unfortunately, it would be 5 years before we would return. I was 13 years old when I started my quest for the Big 5 in Plains game. I accomplished this goal at age 14. I've made 6 trips to Africa to complete the Big 5 twice and the Dangerous 7 once. Thank you. It was the summer of 2014. I was 19 years old, and my life was about to be changed forever. My 5th trip to Africa, unbeknownst to me, would be a turning point in the direction of my life. Like any college kid would, I posted my amazing adventures and pictures to social media. Y'all post y'all's pictures to social media, right? Well, I did the same thing, and we were still overseas with spotty service, so I couldn't see the comments to my page or even reply. I'm glad, because what happened after the plane landed back home, I can't really put into words. I can only show you.
Over her Facebook photos that some viewers may find disturbing. The 19-year-old...
Well, hold on. Maybe I can show you. That's just one of the pictures. And then the media, of course. I'm sure y'all saw some of those. So instead of coming home to catch up with my friends and plan the rest of my summer, I felt like my life was turning into an episode of Criminal Minds. It wasn't just the death threats, fake news, or the hate mail that was overwhelming. It was the activists who harassed my family, friends, coaches, and even my teachers. I had 175,000 animal activists sign a petition to have me banned from Africa, the continent as a whole, not just the country, the whole entire continent. And another 370,000 to have me removed from Facebook. And I was removed from Facebook quite a few times. My Instagram was deleted 3 times, but finally they let me keep it. Thousands of emails and letters were sent to Texas Tech University trying to get me kicked out of school and off the cheerleading squad. Another evil activist was the Virginia Democratic congressional candidate, Mike Dickinson. He offered $100,000 to anyone that could provide nude photos of me. What he actually said about it was that if I was old enough to hunt, I was old enough to be hunted. This was one of many thousands of sick and twisted attempts to sexually exploit me and promote others to do so as well. I even had celebrities bash me and encourage harassment towards me because they didn't believe what I was doing. There were some sad individuals out there that were trying to ruin my life. I kept my chin up and moved forward with my dedication to my passion with an army of supporters. However, there was this one day, though, that it went too far. On a day where most families would have silence to grieve, I was filtering through the hundreds of hate messages posted to my dad's obituary. The funeral had to remove the link, and the city provided security at his funeral. The trauma of losing my dad made me question many things. Where was I going? What was I doing? Who did I even want to be anymore? There was a point where I wanted to do nothing but lay in bed and felt like I had no one. There were times where I felt like grief was going to take over and consume me. The hate, negativity, and grief was certainly a setback, but the ambition that was instilled in me by my parents gave me the strength to move forward. I wanted to be who I set out to be. I wanted to live out my passion, and I especially wanted to do all of this as a legacy to my father. I began to try and see the positive in everything, and I prayed to God daily, asking him to guide me in the direction. This is when my life began to change for the good. I regained the desire to continue with my passion that I get harassed for. I have lost friends along the way, but that's when I realized what and who matters. I have learned from experience, if you live to make everyone else happy, you will never find what makes you happy. Do what makes you satisfied, do what you enjoy, and find your people along the way. Steve Jobs said it best. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become, and everything else is secondary. I have experienced some hangups and setbacks along the way, but I chose to fight through the situation and work towards my objective. If you have to fight adversity or feel like you're going nowhere to reach your goals, I have a few tidbits that have helped me along the way. First, you need to trust in something and be persistent. You need to follow your heart, even if it leads you down a crooked road. You need to be humble, tolerant, and face criticism constructively. Be willing to work. It's all hard work. Nothing of value comes easy. And lastly, you need to have passion. You need to do it because you love it, not because of the money. I don't know exactly where my future is going to take me, but I do know that I'm willing and motivated to work towards success. My favorite motto is and always will be, stay strong and make them wonder how you're still smiling. Thank you.
Pounding on this heart of mine, song to song, I pass my